Hi everyone. So I did my MMM book on reading Lolita in Tehran about the author. Azar Nafisi is an Iranian American writer and professor. She was born in Tehran and moved to the United States in 1997. She's best known for some of her books such as Reading Lolita in Tehran, a memoir and books, The Republic of Imagination, and Read Dangerously, the Subversive Power of Literature in Troubled Times. About Reading Lolita in Tehran. Reading Lolita in Tehran is a memoir of Nafisi's life while she was a professor in Tehran. The book consists of 4 parts and an epilogue. The first part, Lolita, discusses how Nafisi created a book club with some of her students, Mana, Mahshid, Yasi, Azin, Mitra, Sanaz, Nima, and Nasrin. Every Thursday, they meet at Nafisi's house to discuss books. The first book that they discuss is Lolita. They get to know each other on a very deep level and discuss many personal problems that they all may agree on, some disagree on, and they face in Tehran. The second part is called Gatsby, where they discuss the book The Great Gatsby. The next part is James, and then the last part is Austin. The course objective that I chose to talk about was analyzing demographic trends and societal structure from an educator's perspective. I think that this relates a lot to the memoir because Nafisi was an educator in Tehran and she taught many students. She ended up leaving that educator part, which they talk a lot about in the book. And she also helped her students, who they all became very close throughout her Thursday book club. She was their mentor, you could say, in a sense, and they talk a lot about how society is that they face. They talk a lot about the world itself, about America, about their families, about their cultures and their religion and how they work and their, you know, the way that they have their beliefs. And throughout the novel, Nafisi tests her students with questions that they may not agree on to spark an exciting conversation. Sometimes it does backlash, where Nafisi talks about in the book how they skipped right through their lunch break and two of the girls were arguing and they learned that they don't like each other because they don't agree on the same things. And which I'm going to say right now, one of the quotes that I chose was, "The time for our break had come and gone, but we were too absorbed in our discussion to notice." And this is how it went a lot of the times on Thursdays when they came. Considering the society from which the author comes, how did she use principles of cultural competence and culturally responsive teaching in her practice? So, Nafisi uses the principles of cultural competence and culturally responsive teaching in her practice throughout the entire novel. She teaches her students many different lessons throughout the novel. She encourages them to talk about their feelings and their personal lives to relate to others. And if you have to look at it in the way that during this time in Tehran, there was a lot of laws and a lot of regulations, and these women did not feel safe a lot of the times, so it was very hard for them to open up about personal experiences. She allows her students to express themselves through their clothes. If they are comfortable enough, they remove their face covering, scarves, and robes. Another quote that I chose was, she said, "As she was taking off her black robe, I told her, 'There are no men in the house. You can take that off too.'" She hesitated before uncoiling her long black scarf. This was a very big personal thing with many of the girls. Some of them were more comfortable doing that, while others were not. Cultural is an essential factor in curriculum planning and drives the content of every curriculum. This is because the essence of education is to transmit the cultural heritage of a society to the younger generation of the society. Nafisi uses culture to educate her students on Thursdays. They talk about their parents' lives and culture, their beliefs, and what they hope their futures will look like. If they have any problems, if they have any questions, they always talk about it together. There's a part of the book where Nafisi's daughter comes running in crying about a problem that she had at school, and all of the girls came together to make her laugh and make her happy and talk about their own stories to make her feel better and feel included. So, what might have I done differently in that same situation? I think I would have asked if the people, the ladies that were coming in, were comfortable removing their robes and scarves instead of automatically saying that no men were in the house. So she said this to Mashid, and I feel like that made Mashid uncomfortable and feel obligated to remove her robe and scarf because there were no men there, and she did not know Nafisi that well yet. This was right in the beginning when it was one of the first Thursdays that they met. So I think that she may have felt a little obligated to do that, and I would have made her more comfortable by saying, if you are comfortable with this, you can do that. Otherwise, you are more than welcome. This is a safe space for everyone. So, what the issue means for society. Living in a free country is a privilege, and after reading this book, that you can see that not everyone has that privilege. Nafisi talks about how her mom was free before the government cracked down on all women. These women did not have a say in anything. They were constantly being judged, checked on, harassed. They were not allowed to live a free life. And this shows that this world still has so much more to do to make everyone equal. You cannot be content with what we have now. Everyone deserves freedom. And I think this book is a very big eye-opener for people that are free, because they see how lucky and how much privilege they do have, and that we may never have to deal with that in our lives, but this is a serious problem that is occurring throughout the world. As for my conclusion, I've learned many things after reading this novel. I learned about the different cultures in Tehran and how these women were treated. I learned personal stories from the characters, and this memoir is based on a true story. The names have been changed for their safety. I also learned that I'm very lucky, and these women suffered, and Nafisi took a very, very big step in helping these women because she could have gotten in a lot of trouble for doing so. I learned that they can be free because Nafisi eventually did go to America to live her life, and many other girls dispersed for their freedom as well. Some of them went to England, some of them went to different countries. But that is a decision that is very hard for someone to make, because they will be giving up their culture, their religion, their home for freedom, and they will also be giving up their family. So these are my references, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you.